Good morning, YouTube, BookTube. This is Johnny. I thought I'd just drop in this morning here in West Michigan. It is 7:54 in the morning. It is December the 12th, 2019. It is a Thursday morning here. And I just want to stop by and just, before my wife gets home from work, she usually gets home around 8:30, 8:25, and I just want to show the books that are on my desk in my study, not on my to be read pile in the living room. These are the books I've been reading in the mornings throughout the month of December thus far. I have some Christian books coming in the mail this week, which I'll show in a future video. As far as my diary this morning, I'm on page 1019. I just put into the folder page 1018. Just put that in there. And yeah, we're going into the middle of the month on this coming Sunday. Then I'll go into the second folder for the month of December 2019. So now I'm on page 1019 for the year 2019. That kind of rhymes. It's 12/12/019 and it's 10/19. All these 19s. And this morning I got out to read. That was on my desk. I've shown this book. This is the new Reformation commentary on Scripture on 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, and Philemon. That's in the New Testament. When you look at the Bible, you have the Old Testament, and then you have the New Testament, and you have the in the New Testament, right after Colossians, you have 1 Thessalonians. This is right towards the end of the New Testament. They're called the pastoral epistles. They deal with the ministry and qualifications by elders and deacons, and deals with the last things, the signs of the times before the second coming of Christ, and things like that. But I'm not sure if I'm able to read this. I haven't been able to read it lately. I don't know what it is. I got it out, but I'm not sure. I have been reading this in the mornings, meditation and communion with God, contemplating Scripture in an age of distraction by Jefferson Davies. And I have been reading Embracing Contemplation, Reclaiming a Christian Spiritual Practice, edited by John H. Cole and Kyle C. Strobel. So I was reading that, and I forgot to bring out my collected works of St. John of the Cross. I've been reading The Ascent of Mount Carmel. I kind of put that away too. I don't know. I was reading last month Psalms Old and New, Exegesis, Intertextuality, and Hermeneutics by Ben Witherington III. I kind of lost interest in this. I don't know. I might get back into it. And I was reading last month the Book of Revelation, the Bible in Medieval Tradition, translator and editor David Burr. I kind of lost interest in this, but I might get back into it. I did start reading in volume 1 of the selected works of Robert Rollock. I started reading his On God's Effectual Calling, a treatise of our effectual calling and of certain commonplaces of theology and contained under it. So I was reading that a little bit the other night. Well, not the other night, the other morning. I still have these on my study desk. And I was reading last night before I went to bed Moses' Choice by Jeremiah Burroughs, who lived from 1599 to 1646. One of the books I'm getting in the mail this week is his other book. It's called, you have Moses' Choice, and then they did a Puritan print called Moses Denial on the Treatise of Self-Denial, which I ordered. It was on sale for there in Reformation Heritage Books. So I ordered it, and that should be coming in the mail this week. It's not as big as this is. This thing is 650 pages, but if you look at it, it's big print. It's not small print. So I was reading this last night. Also yesterday, I was down the lower level looking for if I had a copy of St. Augustine's treatise on the Trinity. And I had a volume of his writings, but not the full text. But I was looking at some books, and I noticed that some on the lower level down there were getting kind of musty, so I brought them up to kind of air out. And it's this set by the Puritan Tobias Crisp. These are his, this is Christ alone exalted in the perfection and encouragement of the saints, notwithstanding sins and trials, being the complete works of Tobias Crisp, minister, sometime minister of the gospel at Brinkworth in Wetshire, containing 52 sermons. This is another Puritan reprint that it's like in cheap paperback, but I bought these a number of years ago from Strict Baptists in Montana. They publish Strict Baptist literature, Old Paths Gospel Press, and I bought these. I'm not a Strict Baptist, but I collect Puritan works, reprints. So I was reading this last night, and yesterday I was reading the sermon in here on the blessedness of believing without sight. The text is John 20:29. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. I read that yesterday, and I have these next to me over there by my Bibles. So I got these out yesterday to look at, and probably I might read another one this morning. There's a sermon here called, Sermon 6, The New Covenant of Free Grace. I might look at that. So these are the kind of things I have on my desk. Christ Exalted, the completed, is this the completed? Complete works of Tobias Crisp, which are sermons and some treatises. So I got those out. So these are the kind of things I read in the mornings. Usually I'll read these until 12, writing in my diary, Now when I say from 6 o'clock in the morning to 12 in the afternoon, it's not that I'm just sitting here in the dining room reading. No, I get up, I eat breakfast, I clean the kitchen, I feed the birds, I write in my diary, I watch videos, I mess with the computer. When my wife gets home, I'll talk to her, and she'll go to bed around 9:30. She's off tonight. She's off until next week. So yeah. So that's what's going on in my morning reads. Got my Bible out. And it always amazes me that I've been reading the Bible for 50 years. The other morning I was sitting here, my wife was it was in the afternoon, and my wife had been sleeping all day, and she got up, and when she gets up she always needs a fresh cup of coffee, so I make fresh coffee when she gets up in the evenings. And I was looking at my wife and I said, man, she's getting old. And then I said to myself, I'm getting old. And it was kind of bittersweet. I've been with my wife for 40 years. And 40 years, that's a long time. In our days of our youth, middle age, our 50s, now we're going into our late 60s, and our days are numbered. So yeah, that's why I'm reading in the mornings. Moses' Choice by Jeremiah Burroughs. Reading Scottish Theology from the 16th century by Robert Rollock. Reading on Contemplation. Reading on meditation and communion with God, reading Christ is Exalted, Christ alone exalted, sovereign free grace. Writing in my diary, watching the sun come up, and growing old. So I hope you're having a good week. This is a Thursday. Tonight's Thursday night football. And yeah. So yeah, thank you for the comments. Thank you for the new subscribers. And till next time, bye.